Hey everyone, Untitled Chapter from the StarCraft 2 garden site. Bring you a little variety of unit combinations and formations commonly used by the Zerg in StarCraft 2. So we'll start with a rather basic combination of Roaches and Zerglings. So yeah, usually seen earlier on. Basically you keep the Roaches in front, use them to absorb damage and yeah, deal some range damage, while the Zerglings, I suppose you could say, they'll be acting as cavalry charges, basically flanking your opponent's units and all that. So yeah, usually uses some combination early on to expand. And also got rather nice little combination of the Muta Banelings, that's Mutalisks, Banelings and Zerglings. So this one's a pretty popular combination indeed. So yeah, basically of course you keep the melee units, the Zerglings and the Banelings in front, with the Mutalisks basically being used for range support. Zerglings will be used mostly to get your enemy's ranged units to run around, Banelings to try to take a few opportune shots, as it were, well, opportune explosions really, and yeah, the Mutalisks will be basically yeah, providing the range damage. And yeah, provided that you play your cards right, Mutalisks shouldn't take too much damage if you're forcing your opponents to run his ranged units around. So if they're running around, that won't be shooting at the Mutalisks. And also got another interesting combination here, Zerglings and Investors. Basically use Investors for spawning infested Terrans for ranged and anti-air support. Also you'd use the Investors for their fungal growth ability, so you can hold down units for Zerglings to basically tear into. And yeah, Zerglings will also be used as a bit of a buffer between the Infestors and the enemy units. Also got rather potent late game unit combination here, mostly used against Terran mech, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, basically it's the Corruptor slash Infestor slash Broodlord combinations. These guys here. Basically, yeah, the Broodlords are pretty potent anti-ground artillery, basically firing from the air and being able to outrange many anti-air units. Also have the Corruptors, which can use their corruption ability as well, of course, to God, that thing looks rather nasty. But anyway, they can use their corruption abilities to weaken particular targets for your units. And of course we've got the Infestors for spawning infested Terrans, and of course using fungal growth to keep enemy units from getting too close to this relatively fragile army. And of course, yeah, you'd have Zerglings and a couple of Banelings to support depending on the circumstances. Also got another interesting combination usually used against other Zerg opponents. Got a Hydralisk slash Roach combo. So of course the Roaches, you'd keep them at the front for absorbing damage and of course doing a bit of damage, while the Hydralisks, they're pretty versatile units in general. They're anti-ground and anti-air units, but they're a bit fragile, so yeah, you'd want the Roaches in front. Another problem with the Hydralisks is that they move pretty slowly off the creep, so basically you'll need Overlords. Once you reach Letek, yeah, you need Overlords to use the generate. Oops, better move there first. Yeah, basically to generate creep, make a bit of a creep highway for your Hydralisks to go through. But yeah, if you can manage to get that done, then interesting. Stop generating creep. It stopped it when it was moving. Interesting. Ah, okay, so it generates automatically when it stops. I just forgot about that. Okay, so there, we're just going to do that. And while waiting for that, yeah, we'll just have a look at the last combination. So that would be the Roach slash Infestor combo. Roaches, of course, being at the front to absorb the damage, and Infestors being used for yeah, their fungal growth ability, and yeah, spawning infested Terrans for dealing with anti-air units, since there's no anti-air units, as you can see. So yes, as you can see, Overlords, this is without their speed upgrade, but yeah, as you can see, they certainly take their time to spew creep and all that. But yeah, if you can manage to create a little highway, or basically a whole string of Overlords spewing creep out from somewhere, I don't actually see where they're doing, but anyway, doing it from, probably don't really want to see now that I think. But yeah, if you can manage to get to create a creep highway like this, then yeah, Hydralisks can certainly be pretty potent, to say the least. Of course, setting this up is a bit tricky, since of course his Overlords are going to be rather vulnerable while they're laying that creep down. And wow, sounds rather messy actually, from what I can hear. But anyway, so yeah, there you go. There's some combinations that you'll commonly see, and yeah, they're pretty potent indeed. Oh yes, another thing to note actually with Roaches and Infestors is that they're pretty good for harassment once you get the borrowing upgrade. And yeah, the other upgrades as well for healing up Roaches and all that. Because yeah, then you can basically borrow all of these units and sneak them into enemy bases, provided they don't have detection, of course. Use the Infestors either for fungal growth, Infestor Terran, or mind control, although they neural powers, should I say, but they probably won't be using that in the enemy base. But yeah, you usually use them for that. You could use, for example, fungal growth to hold enemy workers in place while the Roaches take them out, or you could just get them to unleash a whole bunch of Infestor Terrans to take out enemy buildings and workers, for example. So yes, there you go. So check out StarCraft 2 Guidance site for more information about the Zerg and other races in StarCraft 2, and until next time, this has been Dame Dudvich signing off.